all I saw was here in my garage, knowledge, books, Lamborghini.
Yeah.
You know? I was curious.
Well, there's a lot of people who are stretching their credit as far as it fucking goes. A lot of people. And some of them are making six figures too and still doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Tai Lopez put it all on the line?
It's Tai Lopez leased a mansion and a few luxury cars and started making YouTube videos about how to become rich like him, essentially. And they actually had some redeeming qualities because he talked about like some legitimate, like Warren Buffett, and those are definitely people to admire. And I'm struggling right now to decide whether I admire Tai Lopez or not, because he's got a good message. But he's getting his attention in a way that he didn't. Did he earn it?
It seems a little slimy.
Did he earn his attention or not?
I mean,
he took a huge risk, right?
I think, yeah, but what do you think, Marco?
My opinion is I take my hat off for him, what he did. I think it was smart, you know? If his end goal was to make money and to end up where he is today, then I think he did the right thing for himself.
And
right?
And the good news is he didn't harm anyone in the way, because like that, it's like if
I
he
don't
wants
know,
to.
Did he harm people? You think he might have harmed some people?
I mean, define what harm means to you. Because I think.
Did he make anyone less well off financially or psychologically in this path?
So the thing I have with Tai Lopez is that I think he went into a positive feedback loop, to be honest. The way he started is, I thought he started selling bullshit, you know? I don't really think what he said was like what he actually knew.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
He sold it in a way that he did. Through the process of his bullshit working, he actually started to make some money. And in the process, he actually started to learn how to do online marketing, you know? So he actually did learn some valuable skills through this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was really able to provide some like valuable knowledge to the public. So if the question is, what was the question? Or some people...
Yeah, because you said if you want to make money and you do whatever it takes to get there, I would tip my hat off to you.
Yeah. And
that gets kind of creepy sometimes because some people are willing to rip people off in order to make their money. So I'm wondering if when you sum all of the things that he's done, if it was made well-being go up for him and those around him, or if if he had to trample on some people.
Or a net
it doesn't seem like he had to trample on anyone. It seemed like this was a pretty private endeavor, which is why I feel like it's
weird
less slimy.
because it was almost definitely a net negative in the first month or two.
Probably.
In terms of his own psychological well-being?
No, in terms of the people he influenced. But you're right in that he did develop some skills that are very unique and damn, they're unique.
Mm-hmm.
And now can teach those skills to other people.
Teach what skills? What are the skills?
What he did.
Online
what did he
marketing.
Do? I'm trying to walk us through defining everything he did.
Okay.
Because this is interesting to me. Because I can't tell if this is like worth influencing others to do this exact same thing. Because what if that method catches on and then everyone's like...
It has caught on.
How many people has that fucked?
Probably a good amount. I just want to interject real quick.
Yeah,
I don't take my hat off to Tai because he made a lot of money faking it. I
Okay.
take my hat off because if his goal was to make money, right, and to become this person who he has become, and we still don't know if it's real, to be honest.
Good
It
point.
could all still
Yeah.
be a lie. And he's made more money now, so he can afford bigger lies to tell. I congratulate him on what he did. He has created something, right, that is there, that works.
Hitler created something.
Yeah, you're right. Hitler did create something.
I guess I'm allergic to the lying. I don't
Me
think
too.
that's positive.
If he failed in the first month, he'd be an epic scam forever.
He did scam a lot of people, by the way. His old business was that. He was a scammer.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
chipping me. I was about to get in the neutral zone, but I'm back in the negative. If he's scamming people, I have a problem.
Yeah, it's a fine line. I mean,
Because I think we were tell me if I'm wrong, what I'm hearing you say is that you're tipping your hat off to him for risking what he risked to do what he wanted to do to get the outcome that he wanted. Full stop.
I'm tipping him. This is the way I see it.
Okay.
I see it through the lens of the society we're in. I think what he did was kind of smart, you know. I mean, for me, it doesn't align to my values, lying to a bunch of people and like putting on this mask for everybody and convince everybody that you're this person, but you're really not. I don't agree with that. But I do kind of say, okay, good job in building what he's built. Whether it was...
Because it has taken effort.
It took effort. It took effort, you know, and it took some knowledge,
Yeah.
you know. He did it, and he started this whole freaking trend of like, now when you go on YouTube, you look at a YouTube video, there's a bunch of people trying to do what Tai Lopez does.
Yeah.
He really started this like YouTube ad thing, you know. So yeah, I don't agree with the lying, but you know, okay, not a bad implementation strategy is kind of the way I see it. I think he had a good implementation strategy for making some money.
Yeah.
If he makes money. I don't know if he makes money, probably.
What if he's just like just above water all the time, just trying to create new shit?
Maybe.
Who knows?
I think he makes money. I do.
I guess I'm sorry. I don't want to dwell on this.
I've really looked into him a lot myself. Like personally, I've watched a podcast with. Have you heard of H3H3?
Yeah.
So he's on one of their podcasts, and so it's like I know that they're gonna come at him from a perspective of like, from my perspective, or
Right.
similar one, because I would just be drilling him, and that's what they did, and he handled it so well.
Well,
If he is a scammer,
he has to. He has to.
I mean, he's probably got so much practice at this point, but
I mean, yeah, he has to tell a story some way.
it almost, you know, because my scam detectors went off as soon as I saw him. But the longer you think about what he's done, the more you justify it, I guess. Maybe that's just a product of time and like listening to him speak for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is that's an important thing to notice for me personally, because I've spent approximately 0 time listening to him talk, so I don't know his message.
Yeah.
But from what the vibe I'm getting, I'm having a hard time swallowing it.
And I'd agree with you, because I would say that 99% of the people who I hear someone else talk about them possibly being a scam, I'm immediately erring on the safe side and being like, oh, they're probably a scam.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stuck now on the influence. How many people now are going to implement that model and fail? Because he does it best. Because he does it best. Because it's so niche.
It's not because he does it best. It's because he did it first.
Good
And
point.
he did it well.
And it's so niche that it's hard to replicate successfully. So how many young people who money on the mind, only money on the mind, did this and just fucked themselves and their families?
But maybe a lot of people did it and worked.
I know.
And
You're
now
right.
they're out.
I don't know. You're right. I don't know.
Shit.
It's a hard argument because ethically,
It's almost like a Ponzi scheme or multi-level marketing.
It is.
It is. Do you say that confidently?
Yeah, I mean, he's selling like his 67 steps program. He says he has like all these programs.
they're his 67 steps aren't to do what he's doing. I don't think. I'm pretty, because I heard him talking about a few of the steps, and they were very generic, like 48 laws of power or like quotes of Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, Ponzi schemes and like multi-level marketing businesses, they're not scams. You know, like they work.
Well, a Ponzi scheme's a scam.
Okay.
I mean, I will certainly call that a scam. And I'd also say that most multi-level marketing is a scam. But some of it I actually think is okay, like insurance, and there are like certain cases that I read about where I was like, you know what, that's fine, because as a customer you get a discount on a real service that you're actually using, plus you're spreading that service to other people who might actually need it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where multi-level marketing is okay. Where it's not okay is energy drinks, cutlery, you know, because everyone's heard of Cutco. And,
Can you guys help me real fast? And for anyone who might be listening, I think ethically this is a really interesting idea. The ethics of scams. Could you guys define? I know what a Ponzi scheme is. I know what multi-level marketing is, but can we define it? Because I think this argument is really important. Because defining what a scam is, because you seem to hold a different stance on this, debating whether or not they're scams. So, like, what's multi-level marketing? What is a Ponzi scheme? Why are they scams? Why are they not scams?
I'll do Ponzi scheme if you do multi-level marketing. Okay, so Ponzi scheme, have you heard of Bernie Madoff?
Yeah.
He had the biggest Ponzi scheme in history, and it's where you sell shares in anything, like a company or whatever it may be. And then the shares pay dividends, let's say. And one person invests, and you use their investment, or two people invest, and you use that total investment to pay dividends to the third person who invests. And the third person invests money, you use those dividends to pay back the initial investors, and then they reinvest more money, and this thing just grows into a giant pool of money that's recirculating amongst new individuals, and it has to keep growing if you want to pay yourself from it, but if you don't pay yourself, then it doesn't have to keep growing. And Bernie Madoff did this at a massive scale, I think, with real estate.
I'm not sure who Bernie Madoff is.
I'm not sure what but a lot of people think that he has to do it with some, not the most recent crash, but like a giant, like of 2009, but a giant dip in the market, like beforehand.
So basically, the Ponzi scheme is a big hierarchy that has to keep spreading. So this person has to have 2 employees, and each of them have to have 2 employees, and each of them have to have 2 employees, and they're all doing the same thing.
Multi-level marketing.
Okay, so Cutco is multi-level marketing.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's hard because sometimes it's not, multi-level marketing is not so clear-cut to me as a scam the way a Ponzi scheme is, because a Ponzi scheme is literally lying to people about what their money is doing. Multi-level marketing is, it's like if you're doing the most honest version of it, you're spreading your product. But then there's also this very dishonest version of it where you're doing it with like energy drinks, and no one ever drinks the energy drinks. You sell it to people to sell it to other people.
To sell it.
Yeah.
And
then you make money if you come on board.
And so really no value is being added to anyone's lives. It's like scum. There's really nothing going on.
Yeah, but
is this all ringing true to you too?
Mm-hmm.
So like, is that a scam? The energy drink side of it? Or like, how would you define it, all of this, and like scams in general?
You could say that, what if the energy drink was good? We're assuming that the energy drink is bad, is shitty.
Aren't most energy drinks pretty bad?
We could go down this.
Okay,
they're bad for you. They're good in the moment. Some of them taste bad. Some of them taste good.
Energy drinks too specific then. I guess I'm trying to get at, this is all connected to Tai Lopez, and the question is, it's manipulation is the word that's floating around in my head, and it's not producing anything of value, because like I understand marketing certain
What do you
things.
think then about manipulation of sales of anything like a car?
But it works. That's the thing. I get that it works, and people are so nudgeable. It's hard to say, but I guess a scam for me would be a lot of time and investment and tricking to producing a product that doesn't help anyone, really. That's a scam.
Yeah.
And that's...
Most cars help people.
Do you have anything to say about this, Marco? Because you're distinctively silent right now.
Oh, I'm just thinking. By your definition of a scam, saying it doesn't help anybody, out of the 67 steps, right? I actually downloaded the 67 steps. I bought the 67 steps, and I listened to it while I was on my bike trip.
Oh, fuck. We got to talk about that.
Yeah.
Bike trip.
Continue.
There were at least 2 or 3 ideas that I actually found valuable, right? So, who's to say I didn't find it valuable? Maybe, like, all the information wasn't bullshit, and then like Tai Lopez just Googled a bunch of quotes and like
copied and pasted.
Just copied and pasted, you know. But I actually got something out of it. Maybe one idea I got out of it.
Yeah.
Was it worth my money? I don't think
Sometimes that exchange of value like is a necessity. I played less of all the games that I pirated compared to the ones that I bought.
So the ones that you bought, you played the most.
But like, maybe you bought them because you like them more, and that's why you played it more, not because you pirated one or the other. Don't you think? Why did you pirate one? Why did you buy the other?
I pirated them when they were too expensive.
Well, maybe they were just too expensive for you to want to buy because you didn't want to play it.
It wasn't linked to the companies, and it wasn't linked to the topics. It was just the price alone.
Yeah.
Yeah? I guess this gets sticky because this is business.
Well, maybe.
ethics.
Well, what I'm saying is like maybe the fact that you purchased the 67 steps made you
want to get something out of it,
more value from it than the person who goes into it with the pretense that it's probably a scam, who would just immediately like see it in the worst light.
Yeah, but you can. I mean.
What was your pretense? I mean, were you aware of his strategy before you bought it, I'm assuming?
All I saw was, here in my garage, knowledge, books, Lamborghini.
Yeah.
You know? I was curious. And at the time, I was this, like, hungry go-getter, self-help fucking addict.
Yeah.
You know? So it made sense for me to purchase it. And I got something out of it because I came in with an open mind and I just wanted a new idea in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was a 43-year-old man who spent a lot of time on my computer and saw this YouTube ad and I didn't like the guy because, you know, I didn't like the way he looked. And then I started looking into his background and like whether he was doing was actually authentic. And then I purchased this program and I didn't get anything out of it, then yeah. Probably. But I think the question depends too much on the individual, you know? But the real question is what he is what he is doing is it morally wrong?
That's what I'm thinking.
Or ethically?
That's the question.
Is it ethical, right? Is what he's doing ethical? I think that's the fundamental question.
Right. Okay,
well, let's define ethics as the things we do. How do you define something that's ethically right?
So ethics and morality are kind of divided thinly. So morality is kind of like a set of values that each individual has or a society has or a group has that drive them to make decisions given the circumstance. So say someone who's really into the Bible and they're really into the Bible and they take the sermon of the Good Samaritan seriously, the moral of the story is help those in need and they'll help you, basically, right? So that's a moral. Okay. So ethics and like I immediately think about bioethics. So it's like an institution that has a set of rules and guidelines that are almost in law form that allow you to make decisions. So a bioethical conversation would be abortion, like when do you abort? That's a bioethics decision, right? And so ethics is, I guess they're basically the same thing. It's a guideline or a rule book or a set of principles that allow you to make hard decisions. And then defining what's right or wrong is what we're going to talk about. So defining right or wrong is every ethical conversation. So that's why I rooted it in suffering and making people less well off. So if we had all the data regarding Tai Lopez right now in our hands and we were able to determine all the people who interacted with him and the outcomes because of their interactions with him, and it turns out that many people found themselves in the ditch or depressed or broke or any other negative outcome we can think of, more than the other people who got benefits, it's net negative. But then you could argue that there was some positive that happened. And that's where ethics gets tricky, because you're right. It's not right or wrong most of the time. In every moral decision or conversation we're going to have, there's going to be good and bad on both sides. Does that help?
Yeah.
No, it's brutal.
I don't know.
It would be great to see if, like, the percentage of people who, after buying his 67 steps, would say, like, this was money well spent.
good. That's a good metric. I like that.
That is a good metric.
So if it was indeed true that they came out like you and 66 of the rules were of no use,
well, we're making one an assumption that you believe it was. Do you believe it was money well spent, or do you believe that you could have found that information
elsewhere and better stated?
Do I believe it was money well spent? It's a very subjective thing to say.
Absolutely.
You know, I think so. I have one. If I got one idea, and maybe I don't remember it now, but maybe one idea back then that helped me. I think there's, no price I can put on an idea that helps me get forward in life. Whether it's $67 or $100 or $5.
When it comes to ideas too, what's interesting is that you learn a lot also from things you don't like. So let's say you got an entire book and you read it and you just hated every bit of it. Now you know a lot about what you disagree with. Right. And there's value in that in a strange way. Yeah, I guess I'm thinking about people just like failing hard, flat on their face in an irrecoverable way specifically because of their interactions with this human being.
Specifically because of just that. Though.
Exactly.
I mean,
this is
maybe
ethics.
That would be the last domino, maybe. I mean, invariably, it was the last domino for someone who became homeless. The last thing they
$1,000
spent was on Tai Lopez's 67 steps.
And what if the question is then, if he was only a person?
You could say the same thing about Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett's books or something.
Right.
You say that literally anything.
Anything, yeah. It's very open-ended.
It's unpleasant.
Yeah,
it's really hard to deal with.
That sucks to think about.
So, do you guys want to talk about the bike trip?
Yeah.
I'm down.
All right.
Really
How long have we been going for?